website is, there is a cute little dog in the background. It is basically a dog adoption website. And here you can see there are several buttons, and when you hover over these buttons, they have a background. Apart from that, there is an adopt now button, and there is a cute little tagline to our website. So we're going to do all of this from scratch in less than 15 minutes. Okay, so guys, without any further ado, let's get started. Alright, so guys, we're going to begin with creating a new folder. It's always a good practice to store your entire code in a single folder. So I'm just going to name this folder as website, and we have this image of a puppy which I'll be using as a background image for my website. So I'm just going to drag this image and put it into my folder. Now throughout this demo, I'm going to be using Visual Studio Code as my code editor. Alright, I find it very compatible, so it's a good choice for me. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to drag this folder that I created and I'll paste it into Visual Studio Code. Alright, so here you can see that there's a website folder with a puppy image. Okay, now let's start with coding HTML and CSS. So first of all, you'll need to create two files. Alright, so first is the HTML file, which I'm going to name index.html. And similarly, I'm going to open a CSS file and I'll name it style.css. So I'm going to begin with HTML tags, of course, and I'm going to add head tags. And within the head tags, I'm going to define a title for our website. Okay, let's name it website using HTML and CSS. Okay, so guys, you can name it whatever you like. This is just the title of the website. I'm also going to link my CSS file in my HTML file. So for that, let's just give the name of the file, which is style.css. Alright, and style sheet. So for those of you who know CSS and HTML, know what exactly I'm doing. Now, like I mentioned before, if you're not familiar with the basic concepts of HTML and CSS, please look up the courses that I'll leave in the description box below. Go through them and then come back to this video, because you only require the basics of HTML and CSS in this website. All right. Okay, so I've created head tags over here, title tags, and I've also linked my CSS file. Okay, let me just save this and let's go to the style.css file. So I'm going to begin with adding a margin and a padding to the entire website. So that's what I'm doing here. All right, margin and padding. Okay. Now let's define body tags over here. Within body tags, I'm going to define header tag. Okay, let's just leave this empty for a while and let's style the header now. Sorry for the spelling mistake. So I've just selected the header. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add the puppy image as the background image over here. So background image, and you have to mention the URL. All right. Now URL here is basically the path to the image. Now since my puppy image is in this folder itself, I'm just going to write puppy.jpg. So guys, if you had this image in any other folder, then you just mention the path of that folder. Okay. So I've set the background image. Now I'm just going to fix the height and background size of the image. All right. And let's fix the background size. Similarly, I'm going to fix the background position as center. All right, let's save this and let's see how our website looks so far. Okay, so I'm going to reveal an explorer and open this file. So guys, this is how our website looks for now. Like, the image is quite clear, but what we want to do is we want to make it blurry because it's a background image, or we want to decrease the opacity of the image. So we'll be doing that later on. For now, let's add the navigation menus. So guys, when I showed you all the website, there was home button and there was about button and all of that. That is the navigation menu of the website. So let's add navigation menus now. All right, so we're going back to the HTML file. I'm going to define a div and let's give it a class. Right, so I'm naming it top. Okay, this is basically for the navigation menu. Now I'm going to put the navigation menu in an unordered list. Okay, I'll give it a class name as well. Let's name it navigation menu. Okay, now I'm going to add a list of links over here. So the first one would be, now these are just empty links because we're not coding the back end of this website, just the front end. So I'm just defining an empty link over here and I'll name this as home. All right, so what I did here was I added an empty link over here called home. Okay, now I'm just going to copy paste this because we have around 5 such links. Okay, let's name this about. So usually in all the websites you see these navigation menus which have home, about, or which have contact, services, and so on. That's exactly what I'm doing here. All right, let's name this one as breeds. So basically the breeds of the dogs. Okay, now this can be adoption, since this is a dog adoption website. Okay, and lastly I'll add contact. Okay, so this is how it looks. So guys, what I've done here is I've added 5 empty links over here. Okay, now let's just save this file. Let's look at how our website looks. Okay, all right, you can see all of these links are on the left hand side. Now what we want to do is we want to get these links on the top right corner. Okay, we want to align it horizontally as well. Okay, so let's start by doing that. Let's go back to the Visual Studio Code, and I'm going to go into the style.css file. And what I'm going to do is I'll select the navigation menu class. Let me select that, and I'm just going to float all of the elements to the right. This will just position all the list items to the right. Okay, and let's also set the list style to none, and I'm just adding a margin on top. Okay, setting it to 30 pixels. All right, let's save and let's see if there's any change. All right, now you can see that all of them are aligned to the right hand of the page, but they're all aligned vertically. Okay, I want them to align horizontally over here. So let's change that. Now going back to the CSS file, what we're going to do is we're going to select the navigation menu. In that, we're going to select all the list items. All right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to set the display as inline block. Let's see what happens when we do this. Okay, let's save the file. Let's open this up. So guys, I made a small mistake over here. I'm supposed to add dot because I'm selecting a class. In order to select a class, you add this dot notation. Okay, so now let's save this. This will basically align all of the links horizontally. All right, let's save it and let's see if it works. All right, refresh. And here now you can see that all of these links are aligned next to each other. Okay, this is exactly what I wanted. Let's add some padding. Let's change the font size, font color, and all of that. Okay, so let's go back to our CSS file. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to select navigation menu class. After that, I'll select the list items within which I'll select the anchor tags. Okay, so basically all the links. Now I'm going to change the color. I'll set it to turquoise. So guys, you can change this and you can do whatever you want. Like if you want to have a different color, or if you want to have a formal business kind of a website, you can do that as well. Okay, I'm going to set this to none, and let's add a padding. All right, I'm going to add a padding of 5 pixels by 20 pixels. Okay, now I'm going to set the font. Okay, so I'm selecting the font family. I'm going to add Verdana. So guys, you don't have to do all of this. I'm just doing this so that the website looks more attractive. All right, you can mix it up and add your own functions, own styling functions. And please do share your website picture with us. We'll be very happy to see your progress in this. So here we just styled all the links. All right, now let me just open the website and let's see how it looks. All right, I'm just going to refresh. Now there's enough space between the links, and also the color has changed. Okay, but for some reason you cannot see the navigation menu because the background image is too opaque. So let's blur out the background image, or let's make it a little bit transparent. Okay, go to your CSS file and scroll up. All right, go here where you added your image, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to add an opacity function to this. So I'm basically going to make it a little bit transparent. Okay, so RGBA, where A is for opacity. All right, all right, so I'm basically trying to set the opacity of the image. Okay, y'all can do this, or y'all can set it according to your needs. Okay, so I'm just going to save this, and now let's look at our website. Now you can see this entire navigation menu. Okay, so this is exactly what I wanted to do. Now let's go back to our HTML file. So guys, when we're on the website and when we are on the home page, I want this home link to get highlighted. All right, so for that, let's go back to the HTML file and let's just add a class to this home link. Okay, I'm going to add a class. Let's call it home button. Okay, now that I've added a class to this home link, let's style it. Okay, so let's go to style.css. I'm going to select the home button class and let's add some border to it. Okay, so I'm going to add a border of 1 pixel solid gray, and similarly I'm going to add a background color. I'll set it to white. Now let's save the file and let's see if these changes are visible. Okay, open up the website. Yeah, so this basically shows that I'm on the home button. Now I'm just going to add the hovering effect on all of these buttons so that they get highlighted every time I'm hovering around them. Okay, and let's try and do that. So for that, go back to your CSS file and select the navigation menu. All right, and within that, select all the links and add the hover function on them. Okay, and let's give it some properties. Okay, so the border, I'll again set it to 1 pixel solid gray. Similarly, I'll add a background color. All right, I'll set this to white. Now let's save and let's see if this works. So you see that when I'm hovering around the buttons get highlighted. This is exactly what I wanted. Okay. Now what I want to do is I want to add a tagline to my website. Since it's a dog adoption website, I want to add a cute tagline. So I'm going back to my HTML file. I'm creating a div and let's give it a class. Let's say tagline. All right. And let me define my tagline now. So my tagline is share your home with a cute dog. All right. So let's just save and let's see how this looks. All right, so this tagline has come on top. What I want to do is, because this is a tagline, I want it at the center. Okay, and I want to change the color and the font of this. So let's go back to the CSS file and let's start styling. Okay, so I'm going to select the tagline class and let's add some parameters to this. So first of all, the position, I'll set the position to absolute. All right, I'll also adjust the width. Okay, 1200 pixels, and I'll set the margin on the left and margin top. Now I also want to style this text. All right, now this text is within h1 tags, so let's select the h1 tags first and let's style it. Okay, h1, and let's set the color to white, and I also want to change the font size. I'll set this to 50 pixels, and similarly font family, set it to Verdana. All right, and I'll also align the text at the center because this is a tagline and I want it at the center. Okay, I also want to set the margin. Okay, so we'll select 275 pixels. Okay, so let me save this and let's see if it brings changes to the website. Okay, so refresh, and yes, okay, this is exactly how I want it. Okay, so you can reduce the size of the font, or you can play with it, change the tagline, or have it somewhere else. Okay, so just play with the website, make it look interactive. I'll leave all of that to y'all. I'm sure all of you are creative enough to do that. Okay, and next what I'm going to do is I want a small button over here which says adopt now. Okay, immediately after this tagline, I want a button which says adopt now. Okay, or anything which says adopt or something like that. So for that, I'm going to go back to my HTML file and I'll define another div over here. Okay, I'll give it a class, let's say adopt. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'll add a link which will say adopt now. Okay, it's an empty link because we're just coding the front end. I'll give it a class. It's always a good idea to give class or identifiers to your HTML tags. Okay, that way you can select them easily and then you can manipulate them. Okay, so I'll name it adopt now. All right, let's save this. Let's see how the website looks. Okay, you can see that this link has come on the left side of the page. Now I want it exactly at the center below this line. Okay, let's style that. So go back to your CSS file and select the adopt class. Okay, adopt, and let's add some margin to this. Okay, so I'm adding a 30 pixel margin, also adding margin to the left. Okay, all right. Now I want to style this link adopt now. So I'm going to select this bttn class and I'll style that class now. Okay, so dot button, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to set a border for this. Okay, so 1 pixel solid white. Okay, I'll also add padding. Okay, we'll set this to 10 pixels by 30. Okay, apart from this, I'll make the text as yellow. Okay, so I'm setting the color of the text to yellow, and I'll also change the font. It's always good to know different functions in CSS. There are hundreds of styling functions. Okay, the more you know, the better it is, because that way your website, it'll look more interactive because it'll have a lot more styling. So guys, don't add too much of style. It might look too congested, but it's totally up to you. I mean, y'all can do whatever you like. Okay, so I'm setting the font size, and let's also set the text decoration to none. Okay, so I'm going to save the file and let's refresh this. Alright, so now you can see that there is a button called adopt now. I want to add the hover function over here as well, so let's go and do that. This is going to be the last step of our demo today. We're almost done. So first of all, select the div, and then I'm going to select the link and I'll add the hover function. Alright, so I'm just going to set the background color. I've already given it good border, so I'm just going to change the background color. I'll set it to burly wood. Okay, save the file and let's open up our website. So when I hover around this link, this background color changes. Okay, it's just like what we did over here. So guys, this is exactly how the website looks. All right, so you can go ahead and change anything you want. You can change the font. You can have a website of cars, or you can have a website about cats. It's up to you, but this is how you create a simple website. I hope all of you enjoyed coding with me, and also if you want to make your website more interactive, for that we use JavaScript. So if you want to add any motion in your website, then you'd use JavaScript. You can check out our content on JavaScript and jQuery. Now jQuery is basically a JavaScript library which makes it very easy to use JavaScript functions. Okay, so I'm going to leave a link in the description